The non-stop radio show.
Non-stop hip-hop.
The hottest underground hip-hop and R&B show on this side of the net.
Yes, because in every place that I've been, whether it's in the States visiting or different countries, there's different styles in just about every city that you go to. So you can get inspiration from, for me personally, just looking around at my scenery, the sounds, the smells, like everything. So definitely.
Now, with that being said, you know, with the smells that you just mentioned, like, have you ever wrote any songs based off of, you know, like a particular smell that made you like trigger an old memory or something of that nature?
No, not yet, but that's a great idea. Thank you.
See, I should get a writing credit on that one if you happen to do so. Now I'm just joking with you and all that good stuff, but that's what's up.
All right, I got you.
No doubt. But, you know, I asked that question because, you know, reading through your bio here, you know, I see that you are the type of individual that you prefer to write more so about your life experiences in your music, more so than just trying to write something, you know, just off of a whim.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, with that said, you know, before you called in, I got to be honest with you. I was sitting here listening to the single options that we're going to be getting into in just a little bit. And I can definitely hear the fact that you have, you know, a whole lot of different life experiences. Not only that, but also just the range in your voice. I'm just listening to it, and I got to tell you, and I'm not just saying it to toot your horn or anything like that. I'm truly saying it because I mean it. This is one of the best songs that I've heard today, and I've heard a lot of songs today. So definitely want to say shout out to you for that one.
Thank you so much.
You're absolutely welcome.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. So with the options record that's out there, you know, we understand that you dropped it in September of this year, and it, you know, is centered around the life experience that you had, you know, not too long ago. So with that said, like, if you don't mind talking about it, like, what was the inspiration behind this record for those who haven't heard it yet?
Well, I'll never say their name. You know, they don't deserve that. They made me upset. But made art out of it, right?
Right.
So the situation was, I was talking to this guy. I really liked him. He was into music and just kind of like very niche, like genres and stuff like I was. So I really liked him, but he wasn't ready for a relationship. And he was like talking to his ex-girlfriend still, just kind of blowing off plans and not really taking me serious. And I kind of just realized, like, I don't have to sit through this. Like, why am I upset? Like, I don't deserve this, and I'm not an option.
I like that.
You got to be certain. For sure.
I hear that one, and it's always good, and let that be a lesson to anybody out there listening right now. Always know your worth, and that comes to anything in life, whether it's music, relationships, or even just being, you know, an employee or whatever the case may be. Always know your worth, because I feel like there's so many people out there that happens to settle just because, you know, they feel like that an opportunity may pass them by. But you know the cliche saying, you know, it's his loss. So, you know, with that being said, you got any love interests out there right now? No, I'm just messing with you.
That's between me and God.
Nah, I respect that answer. I definitely do. But nah, with that being said, though, with this song, you know, options and all that good stuff, you know, like I said, it's the best song that I've heard so far today. So what has been the response that you have received for it thus far?
Everyone that I played it for, friends and family, strangers, they've all loved it. It's been one of the best tracks that I've come out with recently, but there are more to come that I even like more than this one, so I'm excited.
Now, who were some of your musical influences? Because like I said, like when I'm listening to your voice, I can definitely hear the range. You mentioned earlier that, you know, you have an older sister that sings as well, but it's like when I listen to your voice and I listen to your style of your music, you don't remind me of anybody. And I'm not saying that once again just to, you know, be the nice guy on the radio, but I truly do mean that. Like, you really do have like a uniqueness in your voice, and you have an originality that I can definitely say is very refreshing when it comes to your music. So like, who are some of your inspirations and your influences that, you know, you was listening to a lot growing up?
My number one was definitely Amy Winehouse, and still is. I'm sure you can even kind of hear it in my voice, like talking. I have a lower, kind of raspy voice. So I love all of her writing and her voice, and like how different she was. You know, her sound was so different as well. But I'm not trying to copy her either. So I try to do my own thing.
Nah, I respect
But
that.
I definitely get a lot of inspiration, and even in the studio, sometimes it's like, give us an Amy voice. That raspy.
So have you, during your studio?
And I know exactly what they mean.
Okay. So during your studio session today, have they asked you to give them the Amy voice yet?
Not on this track, actually. This is different. I do a variety of genres.
So like when it comes down to you, like how would you define what your particular style is? Like you are, versed in other genres. I understand that. So like what would you necessarily like define your music as to the first time listener?
I think it just don't place a genre on it.
Okay.
I think that's the best answer I can give.
No, I definitely understand
But
that.
I do enjoy R&B. I love jazz, and I love pop. I love honestly every kind of music.
That's cool. What's your
Hard
favorite?
to put my finger on it.
Okay. So like, what is your favorite, absolute favorite that you are, actually listening to more so these days?
Definitely always has been like R&B, like soulful music, jazz for sure. Usually slower stuff.
Now the
That's
jazz.
always been my go-to.
Okay. Now with the jazz, is that attributed to your southern upbringing, being that you're originally from Alabama and have lived in Tampa, Florida? Is that attributed to that?
I think a lot of it does come from that. There are so many talented, like I would say they're more like blues, which also like has a lot of background from jazz, as well as like soulful music, or R&B has a lot of background from jazz.
And that's the one good thing about jazz. It's like it seems to me like like jazz, blues, those kind of genres of music have kind of like been like the birth of what we hear now when we listen to like R&B and things of that nature. So I definitely get that one. And also in the in addition to your single Options that is out right now, you also have a couple of other songs that's out there as well. One titled Blessings, the other one Unhinged, and also Burnt Out. So with that being said, like with those singles being available now on Spotify, like what has been the response that you have gotten for them?
Blessing, I got a lot of great feedback. I actually wrote that one probably around this time last year. And it took me a very long time not to finish writing, but I had to keep coming back in the studio because I was unhappy. I just wanted to add stuff to it. I'm like a perfectionist. I got a lot of great feedback on that one, and Unhinged especially. Burnt Out is more of like a dance, like kind of EDM-ish vibe, I want to say. I don't know. I'm bad with the genres, but I've gotten great feedback on all of them, really. But as of lately, Unhinged, a lot of really, really great feedback I've been getting.
Nice. Now with Unhinged, like what was the inspiration that you drew from that helped you to create that record?
Oh man. A boy who's a different person. I was talking to this boy, the dating stages, and he made me want to like write something like lovey and stuff. And normally I write like about heartbreak, and one of my favorite lyrics I ever wrote was, can I say a cuss word on here?
Yeah, you sure you're free to curse, do what you do.
Okay. One of my favorite lyrics like ever that was on that song was, I don't write love songs because that shit's so lame. It just made me feel so lame and corny writing it, but I was like, you know what? I can do it. Let me just break out of my little shell here.